Most of your research today will occur online. Whether you are accessing resources through simple Google searches, advanced searches like Google Scholar, online databases, online news publications, you will probably be conducting most of your research through internet resources. MLA provides a number of different web citation entries for a variety of different online resources, everything from simple pages on websites to emails and tweets. During this tutorial, we'll take a look at the basic format that'll be modified for specific variations. Let's take a look at that. This basic format shows a single web page, in this case an article, on a master website. It is attributed with an author. Let's take a look at it from beginning to end. First of all, your author presents with last name first, first name last, as in most MLA entries. Next, the page title, the specific HTML file title, is enclosed in quotation marks. This is the title of the individual page and not the overall website. Following that, in italics, comes the name of the site. You can consider the relationship between page title and site title a little bit like the relationship between chapter and book. The small title, the page title, is enclosed in quotation marks, no italics. The large title, the site title, is enclosed in no quotation marks. It is italicized and follows the page title. Following that comes the publisher of the website, then the date of update. This is different from the date of publication. As online resources can update quite often, you include the most recent update to the page or article, and that should be listed on the page. Following that comes the medium, in this case web, with a capital W for web. Finally is the date of access, the date that you accessed this site. This is important because you may access this site previous to certain changes that your reader may see. So if you access this site on July 23rd, 2011, but some updates occurred on July 30th, 2011, your reader would know that you cannot address those updates to the page because you accessed it before the updates occurred. This format, author, page title, site title, publisher, date of update, web, and date of access, is the basic format that most web citation entries follow. Take a look at further resources, such as the MLA Handbook or Purdue's Online Writing Lab, the OWL, for specific variations. But let's address one other question. The inclusion of URLs. The URL, or the address, or the code that appears in the address bar, used to be included in MLA citations. However, with the 2009 7th edition version of the MLA Handbook, the MLA decided to eliminate URLs. They used to be included right after the date of access, like this. However, you can see how unwieldy including the URL can be. This URL is long and clutters the works cited page, and accessing the web resource through this URL may be problematic because of transcription error. You may type it in correctly when you are looking for it. Most people, when looking for a resource, will probably type the author's name and maybe a bit of the title into a Google search. That'll pull up the resource fairly easily. MLA has decided that URLs are cumbersome, confusing, and not very useful. So, we do not include URLs anymore. An entry should look like this. If a professor, instructor, or teacher does require you to include URLs in MLA format, the URL will be included as the last bit of information, enclosed in the angle brackets. Finding the right publisher can be difficult and present some problems for many student researchers. Let's take a look at this resource. This is an article from the New York Times. You can see in green the New York Times Company is the name of the publisher. Now a lot of students will leave out the name of this publisher because it looks so similar to the name of the website. Sometimes the name of the publisher is exactly the same as the name of the website. Amazon.com might be published by Amazon.com. Regardless, you must still include the name of the publisher even if that seems redundant. You'll see the difference, of course, because the name of the website will be italicized. The name of the publisher will not. The New York Times is published by the New York Times Company, and that is important information to include. It's also important to note that the name of the publisher of a website is not always the same as the name of the website. Take a look at this. Many students use about.com for basic information. However, about.com is published by the New York Times Company. So a lazy researcher may simply say, well, about.com is published by about.com. Not so. As you look at the publisher at the bottom of the page, you'll find that the New York Times Company publishes about.com. Sometimes students find difficulty in finding the publisher or the date of publication. If you're finding difficulty in locating this information, use these 4 steps. Look at the bottom of the page of the resource, the bottom of the individual page that you are reading. Look for copyright date information. Look for the enclosed C that indicates copyright. If you can't find a specific month, day, and year, look for the most recent year of publication and include that in your web citation entry. You could look at the bottom of the home page if the bottom of the page of the resource does not reveal. Find the home page of the overall site, and you could find the publisher and most recent date of update there. Third, you could look under a link on the home page that provides information that says About Us or contact information. If you do some quick looking there, you might find the name of the organization which publishes the information. Fourth, you could look at any other place connected to the home page. So About Us or contact information may not appear, however you might find a link that does eventually lead to information about the publisher. If you cannot find the publisher and you cannot find the date of publication, MLA does allow you to include a notation of NP or ND to indicate that you could not find that information. However, you can only include that notation if you have exhaustively looked for it, which should not take all that long, and you cannot find it. Further, you may question whether or not you wish to use this resource if it does not announce its publisher or its date of publication. It's possible that this resource is subjective, does not include any sort of editorial policy, no peer review, and therefore may not be as useful in your research. You should suspect any resource for which you cannot find a publisher or a date of publication. Use these 4 steps. You'll be able to find a publisher fairly quickly, and if you really can't find it, include the notation as MLA provides. As always, for more information, take a look at the MLAhandbook.org or Purdue's OWL site.